Hello, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So this week I'm talking about time. And I'm trying to focus my own attention on how I used my time valuably, and how I use it right. But it's really interesting when you think about time, because we're in a season right now. It's an unusual season for many of us. It's a season where people are trying to find the new normal. I remember in 1968, the Zombie song, it's the time of the season. And that was the season for loving. Well, every day should be a day for loving everyone, your neighbors, your enemies, you name it. But there is something beyond that song that we need to grasp when we think about the season in which we live. And that comes from Genesis chapter 1. Think about it. Genesis chapter 1 is the creation story of God creating the world. But God creates the world in 7 days. God makes the sun to rule over the day, the moon and the stars to rule over the night. God establishes seasons and time. God is the author of seasons and time. And we might think, well, yeah, but this world is just a dirt clod spinning around the sun, and it's arbitrary where it is in relation to the sun. No, those seasons are there because they help us identify life and live better. And the idea of seasons is something that's not just in Genesis, it's woven throughout Scripture. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says that there is a season for everything. And sometimes it's a time to mourn, sometimes it's a time to laugh, sometimes it's a time to cry, sometimes it's a time to dance, sometimes it's a time, there is a season for everything. And what our challenge is to find the hand of God in every season. God is the author of seasons. God is the author of time. We need to be able to find where God's hand is, where God is present within the season in which we're living right now. So how do we do that? Well, one of the ways I do it is to try and see not just the hand of God, but the mission of God. What does God want me to be doing? Because ultimately the season is about what I, Mark, need to be doing in the midst of that season. And I'm reminded of what Paul wrote to the churches of Galatia in a letter that we call Galatians, in the 6th chapter, the 9th verse. Paul says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good. For if we do well, if we persevere, in due season, we will reap." In due season. Our job is to do well, to do good, to put our hands to good purposes for God each day. And then we can rest confident that in the right season, we will see the crop that grows from that effort. We will reap if we do this. So I'm not going to grow weary. I'm going to see the season. I'm going to look for God's hand in it. And I'm going to try and do my very best for Him today. I challenge you to do the same. And that's your video thought for the day.